I'm the Knight Rider. I'm a fuel-injected suicide machine. I'm a rocker. I'm a roller. I'm an outer-controller. This is the Science Fiction Rating System podcast. My name is Sam Draper, and I am joined...
Not the Knight Rider.
Well, at times. I am joined, as ever, by Chris Redding.
Hello.
And Alex Humphrey.
Hey there.
How is everyone this fine morning?
Not bad, not bad.
Good, it's quite a nice morning.
It's very cold up here, cold and foggy.
You had a frost here last night.
Crazy.
Boiler gave up.
It's going to be an intense winter.
Ooh, intense.
Cold winter, apparently. You know where it's not cold? In the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Where it's kind
Australia.
of hot. Of Australia.
Australian apocalypse.
I mean, really, it just looks a bit messy. But anyway, that's Mad Max. Let's get to Mad Max, which is our film this week. The original from 1979, directed by George Miller. The most profitable film of all time until Blair Witch Project. Made $100 million off a $350,000 Aussie dollar budget. Actually, maybe Australian dollars are worth $1,000.
That's what I was trying to, yeah. I think it was like 10-1 back then or something.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, so famous for that and also for discovering Mel Gibson. This is his first role. Before we get into the film, do you know the story about him discovering Mel Gibson for the role?
No.
Mel Gibson,
hit us.
Mel Gibson didn't want to be an actor, and he was driving his friend to an audition for Mad Max. And in the night before, Mel Gibson had been in a drunken barroom brawl and had been beaten up, and his face was all black and blooded. And the casting director saw him in the car and thought, "Who's that? We want people who are a bit weird for this film. Do you want to come in and audition?"
Yeah.
And that's how he got the part.
Wow.
However,
Sport for choice in Australia.
but that is also complete bullshit. That's what Mel Gibson tells people. It's not actually true in any way. He went to acting school. He went to drama school, and
Mel.
he was basically picked by George Miller for his looks.
Oh, Mel, you liar. That's horrible.
How bad's that?
Oh, really bad.
I mean, we know he's a piece of shit, but like,
man.
Anyway,
It's
so
a talented
Mad Max,
director.
Okay,
I think he's a good director.
I've seen any of his films. I don't think.
Apocalypto.
Never seen it.
Apocalypto.
Oh, yeah,
Braveheart?
Apocalypto's all right.
I hate Braveheart. I have seen that.
No, I
That's
hate
terrible.
Braveheart as well.
So Mad Max. Anyway, had you both seen Mad Max before?
No, I don't think I have now.
No.
No.
I thought I had, but I don't
I think I mentioned last time that a lot of people have seen Mad Max 2 and think they've seen the first one.
We've seen it
'cause
by
that is-
proxy because a lot of stuff is in other stuff, right?
Totally, yeah. So I hadn't seen it until about a year ago when I watched it. But let's get into it. So we're all quite fresh to this. So it is, I think it's described as the near future.
It's not, do you want to know when it is? It's 1984.
Oh, right, okay. So 5 years after the thing.
Yeah, there is a date written on one of the signs that says December 6, 1984, and the MFP sign at the Halls of Justice says that the MFP was established in 1983, so it must be the mid-80s.
Right, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's an unspecified sort of apocalyptic future where society is crumbling but hasn't crumbled. It's a very unique setting, isn't it, in a way? I can't think of another film like this.
Yeah.
Where it's
Rover.
not made...
I told you. Rover
of course, the Guy Pearce one you said to watch, yeah. You're sort of left to join the dots yourself as to what's still around and what's not, aren't you, really? Like, clearly the police are there, but they're not really, and...
No, they're not great, are they? They're just looking at naked women and stuff. I mean, it's from the off, this is one of the things it has. You go, yeah, this is kind of... Like, I've not seen... You know, I've seen this in a million things, but is this the first time we've seen this kind of... This vision of the future, which was copied a billion times over in... It reminded me like Carmageddon. It reminded me of that. I had some Choose Your Own Adventure books that were a bit like Mad Max.
I think a lot of that, though, comes from the second film, doesn't it? Where it is the real apocalypse.
Yeah.
So this one, things have gone bad, but not totally bad. We start with me, Knight Rider, on the run from the police. It's crazy in a car, and it kind of builds the whole world very quickly. You get a sense of the fact that basically it's the Australian... Is it the Outback?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I know Australia in the 70s might have been like this all over. It's quite a new place, quite desolate looking. You never know.
We're just going to diss Australia in this, aren't we?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's very quaint, isn't it? Though how
It looks like England in the 50s or something.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they all talk a bit English, and you've got like phone boxes and post boxes, things like that.
But not like they look like they've been made as a prop. Though they're not like proper phone boxes, are they? I don't know whether Australian phone boxes were like that. I don't know.
Well, I think they probably were, because Australia had that kind of like you're on a film set version of England vibe to me in when you got out of the big cities. Don't you think? Like a sort of fake version of...
Just writing down all these disses just so we're dealing with later.
But also kind of the Wild West. It's very deserty, Wild Westy, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
These little hamlets, these little towns in the middle of the desert, middle of nowhere, that kind of...
It's very,
vibe.
like... It's probably the best place to shoot a post-apocalyptic film. It's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's helped by the actors. So it's a police chase that opens a film, and the actors don't look like actors, do they? They look like they're a bit overweight, a bit scruffy. They're not like made up to look anything other than like very normal and very sort of... I mean, it feels very independent indie, doesn't it? Because it is an indie film.
But he's hit the key elements, because they've got that kind of leather... It's a simple uniform, but they are all wearing a kind of a leather uniform, aren't they?
Yeah.
And all the cars, they've got those really... I mean, the cars are wicked. The cars in the beginning, I think, are brilliant.
Yeah.
They've got all those really cool cars, and and the
yellow and
people, and
they are.
just the way they're painted. Yeah, that's all that stuff at the very beginning is just, I would say, the strongest bit of the film. Really, the beginning.
I totally agree. Yeah,
it's the best bit of the film, and that's kind of what the problem with the film is. Really.
Yeah, they build it up really quickly. We meet Goose, who's another one. Basically, this chase is getting out of hand because the initial chase people are useless. Goose, who's more of a badass cop, gets involved, and he goes off on the chase as well. But even he can't stop him, so they kind of all through this Mad Max is like gearing up, isn't he?
I didn't realise this guy did Happy Feet.
Yes, we'll get to that. Yeah, about his weird future. Mad Max gears up. He goes on the chase and sort of inadvertently kills the Knight Rider and his girlfriend. This is the catalyst for the whole film, isn't it? Really.
It's funny because he gears up and there's all these cutaways, like, sunglasses, getting in behind the wheel, that. But he pulls off really slowly. It's not like he kind of puts his foot down. He pulls off really gently, like round the corner, like your grand or something. It's kind of the opposite of what you see, like in that same shot that same build-up's used a million times over, but that person would screech off, and he's just really like. Yeah. Anyway, he takes down the Knight Rider pretty well.
He doesn't mean to, does he? I don't think that's the kind of implication.
Really.
He doesn't mean to kill him. He's just trying to stop him. But
no, he's just doing his job, man. He's just doing his job.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing crashes. I mean, those stunts look nuts. I mean, I think I read they're all just pretty much real. It's all very dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing about the newest one, right? He does do good stunts, this guy, doesn't he?
Yeah. And the stuff in the new one's insane. Like the rigs and stuff they built to film that, crazy. Let's just go back to your point about George Miller, though. Yeah, George Miller, the director, who made Mad Max 2, Mad Max 3, and then Babe and Happy Feet are kind of his other two big films, which is insane, isn't it? Like, what's going on there?
He did Witches of Eastwick, but that's equally a very weird film compared to this. It's nothing like this.
That's he also was directing the one we saw the other week with Jodie Foster, Contact. He was directing that for a year.
Oh, right.
And they couldn't get along with him, so they knocked him off to make. He was also making a Justice League film at one point. He's had a lot of failed projects, hasn't he?
Poor George.
But just odd, you'd go from, because Babe and Happy Feet, he didn't just direct them. He wrote and produced them. He's all over them. He's I guess he got through his issues with Mad Max, and then
he did.
But back to the film itself. So Mad Max gets to see his home life. His wife, who plays a mean saxophone.
It's the second hilarious saxophone at home scene we've had. The first one being in Dream. What's it?
Yes, Dreamscape.
Dreamscape, when he went home and played a bit of sax. Yeah, I love that. He's sitting there with a bourbon, like whiskey, isn't he, on the table?
Where's she getting her reeds from in a post-apocalyptic world?
Well, yeah,
they wear out after a few days.
But their whole life is kind of looks very idyllic, doesn't it? Not post-apocalyptic at all.
No, they've got loads of plants everywhere. Yeah, the baby just sits on the table. He's having a nice stiff drink, and she's just in the corner.
Huge wooden cavern, big nice coastal view. It's all very nice.
It's great.
Living the Australian dream.
So within about 5 minutes, they're establishing that he's got this home life and it's great. This is really all you need to see the family. but as we'll see, that's not all you see of the family.
No.
But yeah, he goes to work. So it's all, the whole film is basically this Knight Rider thing dying, isn't it? And the gang he's a member of want revenge for this death, don't they? That is basically the plot of the film.
Yeah.
And through these early bits, it's quite good because you get a bit of, you see the police station. There's like the weird, like freaky looking guys who are making Mad Max's car, the V8 engine, showing him how great it is.
I love the police chief with the like leather jacket, topless, and then a scarf.
And a scarf, yeah.
And a big moustache, and he's like that's a great, like, it's funny, there's some moments, like the names, all the characters' names are brilliant, and there's some kind of moments of almost like kind of insane genius in some of the characters, and it's a pity that spark didn't just get the whole film, you know.
He's built a deep world, hasn't he? In his brain, at least, and the actors are very clear about that, aren't they? Like, you can tell the camaraderie in the police and the camaraderie with the gang as well are very like. Yeah. It's very believable, isn't it? You get it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you're right. The film was at its best when it's showing that.
He's done a lot with you know, it's not expensive stuff, but he's done a lot with it, hasn't he? Like,
definitely, yeah. Yeah, because it's basically like one set, isn't it? This like disused police thing, and not many people either, is it? But you do. No. It does do well.
And it kind of sets up the kind of the grand theme, which is done better in a lot of other films, which is the whole that the police chief thinks that the world needs heroes and that Max is that hero, but Max is all disillusioned and like, oh, I'm turning into an evil. You know, that's the kind of bigger theme, isn't it?
It is, but I read he didn't realise that till after he'd done the film.
Oh.
And the way Mad Max 2 is more like that is because the reaction to the film, people saying that about it, that was he's like, oh shit, we've made a modern hero. He didn't actually realise that making it, which I thought was quite interesting.
That's odd.
It's also odd because
there's a line in there.
The police chief explicitly says it, doesn't he, towards the end? Yeah. Strangely, didn't think that making it. Yeah.
And also, there's a kind of the interesting element that they don't go on about is when the police chief does that whole speech, and then Max is seeing a really cool car downstairs, and then you have this kind of nerdy government kind of type guy who implies that they've spent loads of money on that car to kind of lure Max back into the police force to kind of. And that's like, oh, this is interesting. Like, is the government trying to? Is he like a pawn of the government against the? You know, like to keep order. But it's never really mentioned again. And you're like, oh, okay, well that could have been a subplot there that could have gone somewhere.
Yeah.
Where do they get all like the gas and oil from? You know, to run all these vehicles.
I think that's the thing. Like, it's not. There's got to be some sort of central government still running, hasn't there? Like, I kind of like it how they don't explain it though. Really, how it's just sort of you know.
There's a TV, isn't there? There's news reports and stuff.
That's true, actually.
See, this isn't even like the proper Outback. This is all in Victoria, I've just read, like, where it's all shot.
Yeah.
Because it's actually quite green in a lot of it.
I think you're meant to think, though, that this is what's become of all of Australia, isn't it? I think that's the idea, isn't it? You know, that in this post thing. Anyway, so we met the good guys. The bad guys are Toe Cutter and his gang. Toe Cutter played by Hugh Keys-Byrne. What do you think of this guy? Pretty good, I thought.
Right, yeah. Really great. Great performance, I thought.
Real sinister presence, isn't he? Real great things.
Really unhinged.
Here's an interesting little factoid about this guy. This is from Empire magazine in 2002. George Miller was worried he wouldn't have the money to hire Hugh Keys-Byrne, a Royal Shakespeare Company veteran. So he's English, moved to Australia in a lot of like proper shit. You know, he's a proper actor. Keys-Byrne agreed to join the cast, but only if he could bring along the group of actors that would go on to play the gang. So all the gang are his like mates, stuff like that. But not only that, Miller couldn't afford to fly them all from Sydney, so instead he paid for the motorcycles they ride in the film to be shipped out to Sydney, and basically Keys-Byrne and this gang, they all drove across Australia as a motorbike gang to get to the set to film it. Which
that'd be a great film.
Yeah, and that's what Miller like. That's why he says they're so good as a gang, because they become one. They were acting like a gang together.
That's great.
Quite an interesting sort of bit of.
That's clever. Yeah, it's kind of proper method without really knowing you've gone proper method.
Yeah, they also the gang, they had like a letter from the studio with a letterhead on it saying they were in this production. So if the police stopped them while they were like driving around and stuff like that, they go, "Oh no, I'm just in this film." So obviously they're just doing what they liked as they drove across, which is pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah, so we meet the gang, and yeah, I mean, Toe Cutter is a pretty sinister presence from the start, isn't he? He like stalks around the ground, and they're intimidating the locals. But it concludes them basically going out and raping a couple, don't they?
Yeah.
Fucking their car up.
Wreck the car, leash the woman. I think it's implied the guy's been raped as well, isn't it? As he's running off, his pants down, and but they've left behind Johnny the boy. He's left behind. Who I'm not really sure what's happened to him. Has he just gone too wild with excess? He's gone a bit mad. Is that what's?
Yeah.
Why is he left there? I don't get why he's.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit weird, isn't it? No, I don't know.
Because he's like freaking out and stuff. It's just like he's just got too hedonistic. He's just lost his mind. Is that what's going on?
No, I didn't know.
But yeah, his character's kind of annoying, but he's meant to be annoying, isn't he? Yeah. But they can arrest him, and he's taken to the courthouse. But he gets off because no one turns up for the trial. I like this little bit with the weird like the sort of lawyer guy with his his weird suit.
Yeah.
And it all kicks off with Goose trying to basically kill Johnny Boy in the thing. And again, like you said, Chris, doing a lot with very little there, aren't they? Because there's not much in the way of props.
I mean, it kind of looks like you could make this for nothing, right? This film.
Yeah.
If you found the environments, you found the sets and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not,
Other than the crashes, I suppose. Yeah. It's
it's great. I really,
all this is,
sort of
this is nice world building. It's very quickly going to go downhill though. So Joe gets off. He goes back to Toe Cutter at the beach where they're enjoying being rascals, and then that's we get Goose being killed. So yeah, Goose goes to karaoke. Goose gets to have a nice night out while Johnny Boy wrecks his car.
Yeah,
and Goose gets burned by a kind of reluctant Johnny and Toe Cutter.
Yeah.
And we're about halfway through here.
Yeah.
All going well. Now Max leaves the force. He's like, no, I've seen too much. I can't live in a world where Goose gets cooked.
Yeah.
He doesn't say that, but he should. That's a freebie, that is, Miller, the remake. And he's like, no, I'm off on holiday. And now we get an hour of nothing happening.
Yeah. No, I mean, literally, like the plot synopsis of this film is, a gang upset. If you're just distilling this film, it's that Max kills the Knight Rider. The gang get revenge on his family, and then Max comes back. It takes so stupidly long for them to do something. There are so many scenes where they nearly got the kid. It's so annoying. It's like. It really reminded me of the terrible Thomas Jane version of The Punisher.
Yeah.
The first half hour of that film is him with the guy from Jaws having a happy life in the Caribbean. And you're just like, the film is called The Punisher. I know something horrible is going to happen to you and your family. Just get it on with so that we can get on with the film. It's so dumb. Like, it just wound me up. Like, it is kind of totally like, this bit just derailed the whole film for me.
I mean, do you know how many minutes of actual Mad Max we get?
How much?
There's 16 minutes at the end of the film where he's actually on revenge, the revenge train. Before that, let me have a look, just scrolling through. So Goose gets cooked at 45 minutes. So that gives us a full half hour of just this terror. Like, it's so boring, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really boring. Really boring.
Chris, what do you think about this bit of the film? Were you still engaged by the holiday trip?
Yeah, he had like the little musical bit in the bar.
Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah.
Now on holiday. But is that
this is really boring.
Yeah. Goes and sees someone's
It turns into like remember that film, was it called Outback or Walkabout or something, where just two kids are just stuck in the outback? Like, it's just really quite boring. Yeah, it's a low point. It's a
low half. It's half the film.
It's a low half, and I don't think that the film recovers. Like, I'm sorry,
no, it totally doesn't. I mean, you get the nice. I like the bit when
I can't get over the police chief, like the Freddie Mercury police chief. Just all the way, like it's ridiculous.
Once he's gone, it does go downhill. You get Tokutter a nice little bit of tension where he licks the ice cream.
Yeah,
that's quite a nice shot, isn't it? And you quite feel a bit, but she should die there, shouldn't she? Really, that's The problem is she gets away.
Don't they take someone's arm off or something? At that point
she takes. Well? I mean, because that's. I think the weird thing is really they're not actually. Tokutter has got his revenge and he's happy, isn't he, that Goose has died? And then they accidentally run into them again and take this guy's hand, and that's why he's after. Mel Gibson, isn't it? Which
a proper film would have had them go after Goose. Get Goose, and then someone say, but it wasn't Goose that killed the Knight Rider, it was Max. And then they'd be like, right, we were wrong, now let's kill Max. Instead,
not just a
coincidence.
Their wardrobe is very like Mel Gibson's wardrobe. It's just like chinos and a nice shirt, like really nice, clean clothes, isn't it? Like it doesn't match the world at all.
No.
And also, he reputedly doesn't take the threat seriously as well. They keep turning up, and he's like, "Well, they've told me it'll be fine. It's probably going to be fine. You go off by the beach by yourself, and I'm going to mess with this car for a bit. Or you go in the house by yourself. I'll wander off with a shotgun. You go and get ice cream by yourself." And they've established it's a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah,
they're possibly being hunted. Yeah,
it's just stupid. It just doesn't work, and it goes on way too long, and there's no tension. And you almost start to when the old woman basically manages to get the whole gang to go in a barn or whatever, you're just like, well, I'm not even really scared of this gang anymore because they look like it looks pretty easy to overpower them. Like,
just losers.
It's not even really now. I'm not even scared of them anymore. It's kind of it really ruins it. I don't know.
Also, the actual when they do finally actually kill Max's wife and baby. That's shot really weirdly, isn't it? The way that you get the on-camera shot, the on-vehicle shot of them driving towards them, and then you see the shot of them going round, and you don't actually see her get run over, do you?
No, it's
I can see why they're doing it, but it's just not shot very well, is it? Because you don't really get the impression they have been run down, do you? Really?
No, I do.
Also,
did you? I didn't really.
I was going to say, why is the mum and the baby running down the middle of the road anyway?
Because the car brakes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but why don't they go to? Why are they? But do you know what I mean? There's
it's true actually. Because
they just go to the side,
or they give the shotgun to the old woman, don't they? Like stay with the woman with the gun.
Yeah, like they don't go off to the desert.
Yeah, and also the guys aren't much far behind. They turn up like literally a few seconds after.
It's really stupid.
It is stupid.
Yeah.
I
like it. I was going to say I like it when they're in the hospital and the doctor is just like an absolute bastard. It's like, well, the baby's dead. I mean, that wife's nearly dead. He's like standing just at the door or something, like just listening, and they're just like proper. Maybe that's part of the.
Well, isn't he like? Does he say like, because she says like, oh, he's a zombie out there. And he's like, oh, just tell him they'll be fine. Don't worry about that. He's like, and then Max. So Max then goes on his little revenge mission, which is kind of a letdown, isn't it? Really, it's because it's definitely the fault of the sequels because everyone's seen Beyond Thunderdome or Mad Max 2 or Fury Road, where he says a little. He's very quiet like this film, but he does a lot more, doesn't he? And he's much more the Mad Max you know. Here is just. I don't know, it's just a bit rubbish. He knocks one off a bridge. He kills Tokutter by push him in the front of a lorry, which seems a bit cheap.
Yeah.
There's a weird effect shot of Tokutter's eyes. Remember that? Where his eyes are all bulging out his skull.
Yeah. Which I think is used for the Knight Rider as well at the beginning.
Oh, is it? The same thing?
Yeah, I think it's the same shot, yeah.
And then, he finishes off by going back to Johnny, who is stealing someone's boots, and he says, he handcuffs him to a burning car and says, you can get out of here if you hack your foot off. And that's the end.
But that seems the wrong way round, because to me, Tokutter was worse than Johnny the boy. So it should have been that he did that to Tokutter, not to Johnny. That doesn't. It's almost like the film's making. It's wrong. Like they've got the wrong characters. Right?
Well, I think the thing is though, you can't imagine Tokutter being like that in that scene, can you?
No, true. Yeah.
That's the problem they've got. Yeah. But you're right. Maybe you should have gone to Johnny Boy first, then got on the road. And I don't know. I feel like this whole bit feels like budgetary constraints to me. They can't do much, can they? So
no.
What are they gonna do?
No,
it's a real pity. It's a real pity.
It is a real pity. But I guess the point is there was potential there. There was some good ideas there.
Yeah,
and that's why it went on to number one. It inspired so much, but number two, it went on to make then 3 more films. So,
So Chris, did you like Mad Max overall? What do you think about it?
I do. I like the whole premise. I really like. I'd like to make a Western Australian Western and it just fills my sort of imagination. This. Because I do like the place and all the just what you can do with the place and the things that you can see there. I mean, it's just a great sort of setting, I think. But like you say, the film sort of drops off, doesn't it? And doesn't really come back. But I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it, and actually, there's no real, script or story massive issue. There aren't any clunky lines as such. It's kind of in its own world, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing stands out as terrible, but in dialogue department. But once you're in the world and you're signed up, in some ways it's sort of quite good because it really just it makes its own world, so nothing can be wrong.
It's a well thought out universe, isn't it, in a sense?
Yeah. But it is and it isn't, because they just haven't like you say, they don't explain what the government is. And
but I get the feeling they know that, though, that they have thought that through. They're just not showing you. Alex, overall, what do you think about Mad Max?
I think the problem with it is a film that's better in my mind than it is in reality. That I do I agree with all that Chris has said. I liked that there is a good bit of world building there. I did think the beginning was brilliant. I like how it all looks, but it really, whilst watching it, I was very bored and I was kind of wound up because I just kept thinking, but we know where this is going and you're just not getting there, and it just annoyed me. So I think I think that it's good that it exists and it's important, but I can see why it had to be almost remade and rethought, because I think this first version of it was not good enough. So it's a difficult one. Yeah.
So where does the newer one sit in this universe? And is it long after, or what?
No, the idea sort of becomes that Mad Max, he's sort of like a character out of time. He's like an idea, and so the Max in each film is a different Max.
Right. Oh, okay.
Oh, actually, so Beyond Thunderdome and Mad Max 2 it's the same one, isn't it? Yeah. But the Tom Hardy one is in a different sort of universe to this Max.
Because it's a lot more post-apocalyptic in the newer one, right? It's a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Mad Max 2 is that setting as well. Mad Max 2 and Fury Road have a lot of similarities. You've got the gangs and the oils, things like that. This is the only one that's very different. Yeah. But again, you can tell that is because he couldn't afford to do what he wanted to do, could he really, I suppose? That's why it's like it is.
I think as well, I read, that he actually, it wasn't really supposed to be post-apocalyptic.
Right.
It's a 2015 interview with a Q&A on a podcast, not our podcast. George Miller said it was not the intention when the script was written, set it in a post-apocalyptic world. This was done because they didn't have the money for extras and properly maintained buildings. In order to cover for this production value limitation, the title card was added at the beginning explaining the story was set after a world war. This also accounts for why there is generally more of an established society in this film than any of the sequels.
Right.
So it's just because it wouldn't look right to say it was now, because where's the postman or where's the petrol stations or where's whatever. So he was like, oh, well, if it's the future, I can kind of not show stuff and I can film on shitty sets and it doesn't really get questioned. I guess that's his...
Yeah. I think the way I think about it is that Max is a bit like Batman in the sense he's always got his origin story. In this case, his family's always been killed.
Yeah.
They can transplant that onto whatever they want to do, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my thoughts really echo yours. Sort of, it starts well. It's weird because when we were going to watch it, because I'd seen it about a year ago, and I thought how terrible it was, and that's just because I'm remembering the back half of the film on it, because it does end so badly. So I was pleasantly surprised again to watch the start of it and be like, oh, actually, this bit is quite quite good fun. But no, it just runs out of steam massively.
Yeah.
And it's a pity.
Yeah.
I do wonder though, because like you say, we know that his family's going to die. We know he's going to go mad. I presume people first watching this, it wouldn't have been advertised that's what happened, and I wonder how it would be watching it if you didn't know that she was going to die. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know if that'd help in any way.
I don't know. No, I don't. No. Again, it's also like the other film it reminded me of is Casino Royale. You know, in that bit in the last towards the end of Casino Royale where Bond spoilers. Where James Bond goes, oh, I'm not going to be in MI5 anymore. I'm going to go and have a nice life with this woman. And you're just like, fuck off. No, you're not. You're James Bond. That's it's obviously going to go wrong. This is just... And you spend half an hour just watching him having coffee and having sex. And just like, this is stupid. This isn't... And it kind of felt that it didn't really... The film wasn't... Mad Max was never really going to end that he was happy. But it couldn't have ended like that. No one, even an audience who knew nothing, would have seen enough films to go, well, this isn't going to end well. Like, there had to be something. And it's just a waste. Like, it's almost a bit of an insult to the viewer. You know, I think. But don't call it Mad Max. Call it Max's Escape or... or
great,
Max
great title.
Yeah, Max nearly goes mad. I don't know.
Annoyed Max.
Yeah, Goose gets cooked. Maybe it should have been all about Goose. Maybe they picked the wrong character.
I like Goose.
Yeah, he was more famous, wasn't he? Than any. He was the top. Yeah, he was technically the top billed actor. Really, and wasn't it dubbed in every other country as well, including America? Yeah, I think in America it was dubbed.
Oh wow, I didn't know.
Yeah, I couldn't understand it.
Yeah, because people couldn't understand the Australian accent.
Oh, that's amazing.
At the time of the film's release, the American audience had virtually no experience with them, therefore had virtually no experience with Australian accents, and therefore very great difficulty understanding dialogue with that accent. That's why Mel Gibson's voice was overdubbed by another actor to prevent otherwise certain commercial failure in the US due to Americans' rejection of unintelligible characters. So, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'd like to hear the dub. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah. And one other thing, Brian May, it wasn't that Brian May did the soundtrack.
Oh, it wasn't?
No. It's an Australian composer called Brian May.
They lucked out with that then. I bet they didn't tell people that. Oh, you've got Brian May from Queen. Yeah, yeah.
We've got Freddie Mercury as the police chief.
Yeah.
All right, let's rank Mad Max. Chris, where would you put Mad Max in a list of 100?
I would say a very enjoyable 60 something. 60.
Yeah.
61.
61, so below Real Steel and above Collective Invention.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. Because it's half a good film almost, isn't it? So it should sit at that point. I agree. What are you gonna propose?
I think should be one higher.
60.
Real Steel was shit.
Real Steel.
Oh, you hate Real Steel, don't you?
But no, if you're both saying 61, well, that's fine. I'm not going to fight over one place. Yeah, of course, yeah. Mad Max at 61. I think that sounds about right to me. Like you say, middle of the list.
I'm now looking forward to doing the other Mad Max films. So
yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching them. Yeah, because I do.
Yeah,
I've got a soft spot for the second one, definitely.
And Babe Pig in the City.
Yeah.
One day we'll get to that. Right, let's go and get a trailer before we do something a bit special. So let's find out next week's film. Buddy bum, buddy bum, buddy bum. Colin.
Oh,
we're always committing time crimes.
We're here from the past.
That's a time crime.
To give you a trailer. Yeah,
What's a time crime?
It is. It's a time crime, and we're talking about time crime.
Hang on, I want to put a beer plug in first of all.
Go on. What beer are you drinking?
I'm drinking a breakfast shake by Siren Craft Brew, an imperial wheat stout with coffee and cocoa. It says cacao, but it's cocoa in it.
Yeah.
Cacao.
9.5% of bliss.
Ooh, is it
Wow,
good?
that's
It's
strong.
delicious, yeah. It's an imperial stout, so he's got to,
I can't drink them that strong,
well, you only need one, don't you, at this level?
I'm down after like 2.
Yes, so I mean, I'm not like going on a session drinking 20 of these things. That's, just the one. Anyway, there we go. Send us some beer, Siren.
The internet's gone a bit funny again. Oh,
Right.
is it back?
Oh, hang on.
Ah, no, you've gone all funny. Is it you? Who's it? Is it me this time? Oh, it's Sam again.
Hello.
Was that you again?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I'm back.
Sam's gone.
Hi.
Okay. Is Chris there, though?
Oh, no, is Chris gone?
Oh, my God. What's going
I just
on?
assumed it was me, but it must have been Chris.
Well, I thought it was me 'cause it's always me, but...
Yeah.
Oh.
No, he's
Well,
gone,
Chris
hasn't
is
he?
gone.
Well, let's just do this. Let's carry on. 'Cause
Right, well, I can synopsise.
Yeah.
So,
get on with it.
Timecrimes. Directed, written and starring, weirdly, Nacho Vigalondo, who went on to make Colosso. Timecrimes is 2007 Spanish science fiction thriller set in Spanish countryside about a guy named Hector who becomes mixed up with a naked woman, a scientist, a mysterious man with pink bandages on his face.
He's back.
And... Are you back, Chris?
Yeah, I didn't go anywhere.
okay.
You guys
You
went.
didn't answer
We
it.
were saying, where have you gone? You weren't there.
I thought you two had gone. My connection was
anyway.
still. My
Anyway.
connection was still working.
Oh, okay. And he gets mixed up with time
This
travel.
is weird.
This film is weird. I've always wanted to see it because I've heard good things about it, and we haven't done time travel for a while. So just watch the trailer, Chris. See what you think.
Let's watch the
I've
trailer.
never seen it, so I don't know anything about it either.
It looks mental.
That's terrible. That title, that blue title.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad. It comes up a lot on lists of things you've never seen that you should give a go to, like good science fiction or foreign science fiction you've probably never ever heard of. So,
Okay.
And we haven't had a time travel for a while, so I thought, why not?
It can't be any worse than Safety Not Guaranteed, can it? So let's
Indeed. Yeah.
give it a shot.
So let's go.
Bro.
Let's go back to ourselves in the time crime, whatever it was. All right, bye.
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 Right.
It's Timecrimes, isn't it, next week? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Timecrimes. Before we go to social media, this week in pod time, not real time, it's Chris's birthday. Happy birthday, Chris.
Thank you.
Woo! Happy birthday to you. Okay, I'll stop.
Cheers.
And as is tradition, that means that Chris gets to pick a film for our second season of re-ranking. You remember a few weeks ago I picked Predator. And so, Chris, what are you going to put in for a rewatch next April?
I will put
And your
in-
reasons, please, as well.
Oh right, okay, yeah. I will put in. See, the problem with this whole thing, right? Is there's a few bad ones I think are quite high, too high, but I don't want to watch them again.
Yeah.
That's it. You got to. Can you?
This
commit
is
to
the
watching it
problem,
so it goes
right?
down? I know, yeah.
Because I think, like, for instance, Mars Attacks is way too high.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, last year that's what you did, didn't you? You chose Ghost in the Shell last year to get it
Yeah,
pushed down, didn't you?
yeah. So what did you go for, Sam? Predator.
I had Predator because I think she was number one.
You want to go to the
But
top?
also, Sam last year chose Wally, but by the time we re-ranked it, it was actually at a position
I was fine
where
with
he
it,
was happy with. Yeah. So,
yeah.
so you know, you've got to
It's a
think
gamble,
about
isn't
that.
it? It's a gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm. Shit. I don't know, guys.
Well, Alex, do the social media while Chris has a think. Let's have a little.
Okay, right. So, social media. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at SF Rating System. You can email us at sciencefictionratingsystem@gmail.com if you want us to rate a film or have a comment or just kind of mad about Mad Max, think it should be higher, or have a suggestion for Chris's re-ranking. And then you can find us on our website, www.sciencefictionratingsystem.com, with a brilliant new list that is all clickable, searchable. It looks beautiful. Well done, Sam, for that.
Thanks.
I think I might try and get Independence Day higher.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Oh dear. Where is it at the moment?
38. It's pretty high for Independence Day. Wow. So that's your choice, is it? That's your choice.
That's risky.
It is risky.
Oh, he's doing it. He's doing it.
You committed to that, yeah?
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Well, it was that. If people have been long-term listeners, that was like the joke for the whole of the first year. Was a joke that Chris Wood wanted that to be higher. He's finally put his money where his mouth is.
Is this not the third time we've watched this as well? Do we watch this the first?
Yeah, it will be. No, we didn't ever really watch it the first time. We watched it the second time. Was the third time
we never really watched it the first time. That was the whole...
Yeah, well, he took it out.
But it will be the third time we've reviewed it. Yeah, it's his third ranking.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, that joins the list for another watch.
Well done.
I mean, you're playing with fire there. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It's a high-stakes game.
I'm going to come armed with some notes.
Yeah, thank God.
Brilliant. Right, I think that's everything then. We've got the re-ranking in. Join us next time for Timecrimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, any other business? No, that's it, isn't it?
No.
We're done.
Have a nice
Cool.
day.
Enjoy yourselves. Bye.